Welcome to the African News on Voice of the People television. I am Adefunke Jaisimi. Before we begin the news, kindly visit our website at www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news stories. And for calling and WhatsApp, the number to call is 090-447-32605. In order to maintain regional stability, citizens and businesses from Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger will continue to enjoy key benefits open to members of the Economic Community of West African States. The Ecowas Commission gave the assurance in a statement on Wednesday, announcing the withdrawal of Burkina Faso, the Republic of Mali, and the Republic of Niger from Ecowas effective January 29, 2025. Ecowas assured that passports and identity cards bearing its logo will remain valid for travel within the region. Trade and economic activities will proceed under the existing Ecowas Trade Liberalization Scheme, allowing goods and services from the three countries to move freely, it added. According to the statements, in the spirit of regional solidarity and in the interest of the people, all relevant authorities within and outside ECOWAS member states are requested and required to recognize national passport and identity cards bearing the ECOWAS logo held by citizens of the three countries until further notice. The Commission is also to provide full support and cooperation to ECOWAS officials from the three countries in the course of their assignments for the community. Meanwhile, the statement disclosed that a special ECOWAS committee has been established to negotiate further engagement with the three countries, ensuring that the transition does not negatively impact millions of people who rely on cross-border movements and trade. Rwandan-backed M23 rebels on Wednesday consolidated control over Goma, the largest city in the east of Congo, in just 2 days. Isolated bursts of gunfire sounded through some outlying districts of the lakeside city with near 2 million people, where Monday's rebels storming left bodies lying on the streets, hospitals overwhelmed, and UN peacekeepers sheltering in their bases. The rebels seized the city international airport on Tuesday, which could cut off the main routes for aid to reach hundreds of thousands of displaced people in eastern DR Congo, where conflicts has raged on and off for decades. The United States urged the UN Security Council on Tuesday to consider unspecified measures to halt the offensive, as it told Rwanda that it's deeply troubled by the fall of Goma. The African Union had also demanded the immediate withdrawal of the M23 from occupied areas. In a related development, anti-Rwandan protests broke out in Kinshasa on Tuesday as rebels continue to battle Democratic Republic of Congo forces in the key eastern city of Goma. We would go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll bring more stories to you. Just stay with us. Still on African news, anti-Rwandan protests broke out in Kinshasa on Tuesday as rebels continue to battle Democratic Republic of Congo forces in the key eastern city of Goma. People carried Congolese flags and swore allegiance to President Felix Tshisekedi, burning tires and blocking roads in the capital, which is thousands of kilometers away from Goma. The DRC and many foreign governments allege that Rwanda forces are currently present in Congo, along with the Rwandan-backed M23 rebels that claim to have taken control of the key city. Protesters Jenny Ngalula called out Rwandan President Paul Kagame directly, saying if Kagame arrives here in Kinshasa and takes the place of President Tshisekedi, he will not be able to govern. For protesters Eric Boyololo, dialogue is no gain anymore. They want to fight for their country and are proud to stand up and fight for the enemy. Meanwhile, in a post on social media platform X, Rwandan President Paul Kagame said he had agreed in a phone call with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the need for a ceasefire, but gave no indication he would bow to demands to withdraw from the city. Ethiopian authorities have shut down two more prominent human rights organizations in recent weeks as part of an escalating crackdown against civil society, Human Rights Watch said today. It urged the authorities to immediately resign the decision and stop targeting independent voices. In the late December 2024, the Ethiopian Authorities for Civil Society Organizations, a government body that oversees civil society groups, suspended the Ethiopian Human Rights Council on allegations that it lacked independence and are acting beyond its mandate. African Director for Human Rights Watch, Mwasi Shegun, said the Ethiopian authorities over the past year have waged a relentless assault against human rights groups. He added that by suspending groups engaged in critical human rights documentation and advocacy, the government is showcasing its intolerance of independent scrutiny. The suspensions came a week after the government civil society authority had suspended three other prominent rights groups: Center for the Advancement for Rights and Democracy, Lawyers for Human Rights, and the Association of Human Rights in Ethiopia. The government alleged that the two organizations did not learn from past mistakes and had not taken corrective measures after receiving a warning. The ban on AHRE was not reinstated. Morocco has deepened its weapons cooperation with Turkey in a bid to modernize its military arsenal and strengthening defense capabilities. Rabat recently hosted a delegation from Turkey's leading defense firm, Aselsan, to discuss potential collaboration with local arms production and defense technology. The partnership is set to focus on electronic systems, smart solutions, the unmanned aerial platforms, offering new job opportunities for Moroccan technological specialists. Morocco and Aselsan are also reportedly in talks to acquire a new combat management system aimed at bolstering the kingdom's naval defense capabilities. Once fully implemented, the expanded arms collaboration could help Morocco diversify its resources of armaments and establish a competitive national defense industry. Morocco has become a key customer of Turkish defense systems, which past acquisitions including Baraka TB2 combat drones and Cobra 2 armored vehicles. Furthermore, Aselsan is said to have secured a $50.7 million contract to provide the Royal Moroccan Armed Forces with the Coral electronic warfare system. With these advanced Turkish weapons and defense technologies, Morocco is poised to become a stronger regional power, especially as security challenges continue to intensify. An initiative to connect 300 million Africans to electricity in the next 6 years has won new pledges worth more than $8 billion from lenders, including the Islamic Development Bank and the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank. The Mission 300 initiative, launched by the World Bank and the African Development Bank in April, is projected to cost $90 billion. Its implementation faces challenges because the economies of the countries in the region are severely constrained, mainly due to sluggish revenue and high debt service costs. Funding the project is expected to come from multilateral development banks, development agencies, private businesses, and philanthropic organizations such as the Rockefeller Foundation, which is part of the initiative. President of the Islamic Development Bank, Muhammad Al-Jasser, said in a statement released during the summit that ended on Tuesday that the Jeddah-headquartered bank was committing $2.65 billion in project financing and another $2 billion to ensure power projects in Africa. Beijing-based Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank says it is set to provide $1.5 billion in financing. Others funding and the project include the French development agencies, which committed to provide 1 billion euros. There is also the OPEC Fund for International Development, which made an initial commitment of $1 billion. The the AFBDB said in a closing statement. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni says she has been placed under judicial investigation over Italy's surprise release of a Libyan citizen who had been wanted for war crimes by the International Criminal Court. In a video message shared on social media, Meloni says she was suspected by prosecutors of embezzlement and aiding and abetting a crime. Osama Najim, also known as Al-Masri, is the head of Libya's judicial police and director of an infamous detention center in Mitiga, near Tripoli. Najim was arrested in Italy on January 21 and fled days later due to what Italy's Interior Ministry called a legal technicality. However, the ICC, which said it had not been consulted, swiftly issued another arrest warrant for Najim and demanded an explanation from the Italian authorities. In the video, Meloni said the Rome Appeals Court released Najim because the ICC warrant had not been sent to the Italian Justice Ministry. Meloni also said that Nodio Interior Minister Matteo Piandedosi and the Cabinet Undersecretary for Intelligence Matters, Alfredo Mantovano, had been placed under investigation, adding that the move was politically motivated. On Ending Stories in Africa, you would agree with me this afternoon to discuss and, of course, analyze some of the major stories, some of the top stories in the national dailies today is in-house analyst Barrister Darlington. Good afternoon, Barrister.
Good afternoon, Adefunke. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's always a delight to have you share your insights on some of the major stories trending across Africa. But let's start with what is happening in Libya as the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni says she has been placed under judicial investigation over Italy's release of the Libyan citizen who had been wanted for war crimes by the International Criminal Court. You know, they said they released this person for legal technicalities, as they said, but their Libyan counterpart has said, no, this is not acceptable. They've gotten a warrant from the ICC, and now it's even beyond the Libyan citizen that was released now. It's now something that is affecting the people that had housed him for a period of time. Your reaction?
You see, there is politics behind this ICC and those indicted. Because I remember that some African leaders, withdrew from that ICC because of the selectivity they discovered in the prosecution of indicted individuals. So, if the Libyan suspect was released from Italy, what was the reason? Because the lady is saying, talking of technicalities.
Yeah, I was saying that it's technicalities.
Good. So, if they are in their own wisdom, the man deserves not to visit ICC, then it is left for ICC to look for other means to get him. There could be international arrest warrant or whatever. They can contact Interpol to hunt him down, because it cannot be far from terrorism and all that, and crime against humanity. So they must answer. All the people who were acting with Gaddafi when he was alive, even though Gaddafi is no more, they should answer for their crime against humanity. It's not enough to say that it's on technicality that Italy released the man. Let us see those technicalities and then let's interrogate it to know whether there was financial inducement or something.
You have alleged that there might be some trust issues when it comes to trusting the ICC. But one would have thought for a court of such international reputation, it should be a constituent of people that are legally uptight when it comes to addressing issues in line with global standard of operation.
So the way the American, in fact, America is not even a member of that body. They refuse to sign the ICC protocol. They opted out because they say that their military or their security agency cannot be tried for what they did abroad and all that. So I don't know what that means. And if you check very well, America have committed more criminal offenses, especially the way Osama bin Laden was taken down in a foreign country. I don't know of any other country that could do that and get away with it. It's only America. So these are the things that made some African leaders to say, look, you people are very selective. Is it because America is a big country with military might and economic might? Therefore, whatever they want to do, they will do it and without anybody. So when you are talking of a body like that, I've just given you a very good example of, you know, if America is not a member of that body or is not a signatory to the protocol, is it enough for them to be acting outside international law? The answer is no. So why have nobody been reined in from America? Eh?
But do you think that it is fair to put the Turkish minister under investigation for someone they might have innocently released? Should they be held ransom?
There is no innocence here. They were told that this man is wanted by ICC. The best they could have done is to hand him over to ICC. If he's innocent, let ICC decide, not you as a government deciding his innocence. I mean, look at it yourself. It doesn't add up.
No, they didn't decide his innocence. They just let him go. They just let him be.
Even when you know that he's a wanted person. No, it's not. You are aiding and abetting criminality then. Okay. Yes, you are supporting a fugitive. That's what it means. So that means you are complicit.
So the investigation is in line?
Yes, they should. They should find out why that privilege was given to a suspect.
All right. Let's move on quickly to the events. I mean, it's no longer news that some West African states have withdrawn from the Ecowas, even though it's just happening formally. They've always made their stance known for, I think, since 2024. It's no longer news anymore. But in a proper announcement of the withdrawal of Burkina Faso, the Republic of Mali, and of course the Republic of Niger from ECOWAS, which is effective January 29, ECOWAS has assured that the passports and identity cards, because these were some of the concerns that was raised, especially for people that are in business, especially for trade and economic activities under the existing ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme, and talking about how their goods and services from these three countries can still move freely. But ECOWAS has come to say that, I mean, sit down, relax, do your business. We're assuring you that the passports and identity cards bearing these logos will remain valid for travel within the region. But also in that statement, they also said that in the spirit of regional solidarity, that the interest of the people and the relevant authorities will be protected against all odds. But this was also said that the cards bearing this ECOWAS logo will held by the citizens of the three countries will be valid till further notice. Do you think that there will be a point where these three countries will be cut out of the standard benefits of being an ECOWAS state?
Look, these ECOWAS leaders, they are wasting their time. The three Sahel nations have moved on. They are not the first to do it. After all, UK withdrew from EU. They severe ties with EU on almost everything, customs, so commerce, so governance, so politics and everything. So what is very strange about what these three countries have done, they have a very genuine reason. If you want to remain under the tutelage of your slave master, these people say no, because you are doing business with our enemy. So we don't want that. They have not addressed the issue. They are just trying to play to the gallery that these people are still with them. They need them. But the people have moved on. They have consolidated their separation from you. And you are still telling them, I'm sure the three countries will not even listen. They are not bothered.
So talking about severing ties like the Brexit you referred to, do you think that these Sahel states would be able to withstand the conditions that this might bring upon their economy and, of course, their relationship, the regional solidarity that we share?
My dear, you need them all. Like our airspace, I mean the airspace of Niger, you need it too. So you need it seriously. So don't go there.
When you say you need it, Nigeria needs it, or Ecowas needs it?
Yes, all of you. When you are leaving for Europe, you pass through Niger, or you go through a longer route and burn your aviation fuel with all the attendant risk. Go. Every country, especially that Niger, don't play with them. Oh, they are occupying a strategic position. Even the Western world need Niger for their gas pipeline and all that. So they have an advantage, comparative advantage. I mean, since they moved on, did you hear that their people are begging for food or dying in the street because of? If you check, they are even doing very well.
Now, that's a relative thought, really, because it depends on what makes it to the news and the complaints of the people. If it gets doesn't mean that their space is totally perfect.
The world is a global village. If anything happens in any country today, you will hear it now. You can't hide it. The world is a global village. Besides, satellites are all over the space, monitoring and taking. So if there is a hunger and starvation in any of these countries, they won't hide it. It will show. People will talk. You have people from other regions or other nations who are in those countries. So, and with the social media, I mean, you'll be seeing pictures now. Will they hide that one too?
Okay, you've also emphasized on the fact that ECOWAS needs Niger, Nigeria needs Niger, even the world at large needs Niger. You're not talking about how independent Niger can be. Are you saying that Niger does not need the rest of the world or ECOWAS as much as the rest of the world needs them?
They have chosen their business partners, and that is Russia. They are choosing their business partner. They don't want somebody who will enslave them, enslave their resources, enslave their life in the name of regional cooperation. How can you say that you are partnering with me and you are sucking my blood? No, you had all the grievances these people have against France. And you, who's supposed to be championing the cause of the group as ECOWAS member nations, you are in bed with France. You are doing business with France. You are hobnobbing with France. What does that tell you? I wouldn't be surprised if other Francophone countries in West Africa join them. I mean, you can see that Senegal have already given them France marching order. There is this other country that have told them to leave. So there's no way they are going to do anything that had to do with France or even ECOWAS, because they discovered that ECOWAS leaders are lily-livered. They can't even confront the colonial master that is the bane of these Francophone countries. Why will I not be a member of your bloc when you are not protecting my interests?
Which should be very, very important if we are brothers indeed.
So that is it. So,
okay. So having established that there is a Rwandan-backed M23, and of course these rebels have seized the city's international airport on Tuesday, which could cut off the main route for aid to reach thousands of displaced people in the DRC. Of course, the United States has also urged the UN Security Council on Tuesday to consider on specified measures to halt the offensive, as it was told that Rwanda is in deep trouble by the fall of Goma. I mean, the DR Congo president had constantly accused the president of Rwanda for their position in all of this. And for this particular sect to now occupy the airport, which would impact that country largely. I mean, when you cut access to food, drinks, and aids for people, then it feels like homicide, like you just want to ruin the entire populace. How does DR Congo cope with this? What are the measures they can put in place beyond foreign interventions that they might be hoping for?
If what is going on in DR Congo continues, it may snowball into a wider conflict. especially in South Africa.
So it's going to go beyond those two states?
Yes, from East Africa, it will may cross down to South Africa. Because these M23 rebels, they are becoming too powerful for my liking. They are becoming too powerful. I don't know what is their problem. You cannot invade another country in the name of what? Say you are protecting who? Behind all this thing is the mineral resources. Let us call a spade here. They may deceive everybody, but not me. What are they fighting for? If not to have a foothold on the mineral resources of DR Congo. You cannot tell me that they took all that risk for nothing. At the back of their mind, they are pursuing something with their backers, who happen to be Paul Kagame.
Yeah, but how does the president protect his people if all of the aid that should come to them is being cut off? Because it's bad enough that there is war in the land. And of course, there are already anti-Rwanda protests in some parts of the states too. People are even making solidarity protests at the time, saying that we stand with this president, this should not happen. Are we going to wait till this turns to an inter-country war? So,
my dear, when you have a weak leadership, this is what you see. I mean, you can liken it to what is going on in Nigeria, where terrorists are now, they are now causing us a sleepless night, dictating peace with governments. Government is even appealing to them, like the one in Kaduna. So you can see that terrorism is spreading in Africa. And if AU or other African nations don't come together to stamp out this thing, it may cause a very bigger problem. Especially this M23. I told you the history of that particular group. It was one Alice Lakwena in Kenya. Very deadly woman with some magical powers. She started this group. And now look at the monster we created yesterday. It can no longer be tamed. They are now fighting in any country that they choose. What is their business in DR Congo? They are not even from there. They are not even from there. That means any other, rascal leader in Africa can hire their services. If they succeed in what they are doing in DR Congo now, they may become another...
like a mercenary when it comes to troublemaking.
Good. That's where they are going. That's where they are going, because they have made a success of this in DR Congo. So the possibility of any other, rebel group in another country can collaborate with them, And the more success they make, the more they grow in number with their backers, both within and outside the Africa.
But what did you say to Kagame, that's the president of Rwanda? Is it that it just derives, there's a particular kind of joy that war gives? Because for protesters from across the African states coming to say that there is no gain in dialogue anymore. I mean, there's a protester, Eric Boyololo, that has said that there's no gain in dialogue anymore, and they want to fight for their country, and they are proud to stand up and fight the enemy. If they take this fight beyond the corridors of DR Congo to Rwanda, is the president thinking about the possibility of Rwanda burning again?
I don't think the man that is talking is in a position, because these people are already inside DR Congo, and they have taken over the largest city in eastern DR Congo and their airport. So what is the man saying? He's saying they are going to go and fight the enemy. So they know that there's a problem home, but they are willing to go beyond and attack. No. He's making a mistake. He's just being bold for nothing. Remove the enemy in your soil first before you start going abroad to go and fight. Is that not the best thing to do? These people are already in your own soil. They are taking over your country, and you are talking of you are going to fight. Fight who? The one under your nose, you remove it first. Fight them, defeat them, chase them away from your country. Then you now go and meet them wherever you want to go and meet them. They are in your country. So think of that solution first before you start talking of going to fight the enemy. Which enemy? The enemy is already on you. Take him out if you have the guts. Where were you when they even entered your country? Where were you?
Maybe they thought it was some joke.
Oh, a joke, Abi. This is a joke taken too far. He's even making a mockery of the whole thing when he's boasting that you go and fight fight which country? But Kagame is getting something from DR Congo. That is just the only look. Whenever somebody is fighting, go and check. There is something. There's a motive. He cannot be investing in all this M23 for nothing. He's getting something from them. It's as simple as that.
Okay, let's go to another news, which might be good news or otherwise, depending on the perspective you're looking at it from. It's Mission 300, which is about more like the latest bride on the block. Following the meeting, I mean, there was a conference, as it were, in the last 2 days, Monday, Tuesday, and of course, an initiative to connect 300 million Africans to electricity in the next 6 years as one new pledges worth more than $8 billion from lenders, Barrister Darlington. This includes the Islamic Development Bank and the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank. And the Mission 300 initiative, which was launched by the World Bank and the African Development Bank in April, is projected to cost about $90 billion. Well, the implementations couldn't happen because of financial challenges, noting that the economies of the country in this region were severely constrained and mainly due to sluggish revenue and high debt service costs. But congratulations, the funding for the project is expected to come from multilateral development banks, which has come now. Before I go to the remaining part of that story, that's a lot of investment. I mean, the commitment of about $2.6 billion in projects financing and another $2 billion to ensure power projects in Africa. Let's talk about this investment first. This investment that is coming from lending, not a gift. How accountable can African leaders be looking at the fact that these monies were borrowed? That means if these projects are not executed, we have another debt on our hands.
Before now, this particular project has been mooted in the past. Sorry.
Take care.
They have already proposed this thing in the past, and money was voted, but it ended up nowhere. I am not amused that some foreign countries are going to light up Africa. The question you should ask yourself is, why is it that African leaders are not thinking along that line? This money they want to go and borrow for whatever, is it free? The answer is no. So you are piling up debts. Sorry. You are piling up debt for your unborn generation, just to give them light in this age and time. What does it take to do that? And I'm sure Nigeria is among these African nations.
Of course.
Good. And you are the big brother.
I mean, the giant of Africa.
A giant of Africa, with a clear feet. So you can see. So with all this aid and assistance all over the world, how can you earn anybody's respect? Adefunke, have you seen a borrower who is giving respect? You can't get any respect anywhere.
You know, beyond the respect, looking at the source, Asia, France, I mean.
It's not even where it's coming from. It is you.
What is the interest with this continent?
So by the time they give you this money, something will give. You are going to give something in return. And that's why African leaders do not have the gut to confront these Western leaders, because they are getting aid from them. I mean, that's it. You think they don't know what they are doing? They are using it to mortgage your future, mortgage your conscience, mortgage your economy, mortgage your life and your people.
So in other news?
That is what comes from this aid you are collecting right, left, and center. Eh?
Okay, thank you very much, Barrister, for your time with us. Like I would always say, it's always the best you can get when it comes to information, education, and of course, a bit of excitement when you talk about news stories, making it to the national dailies. Thank you so much for being with us, Barrister. You are still watching the African
My
News on
pleasure.
Voice of the People television. Egypt intensifies opposition to displacing Palestinians. These and many more we will be talking about when we return from this quick break. Do stay with us. Egypt's Foreign Minister Brad al-Belati has reaffirmed Cairo's long-standing position on the Palestinian issue, emphasizing its rejection of any forced displacement. He maintained rejection of any attempt to forcibly displace Palestinians from Gaza as a senior official denied reports of a call between President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the U.S. President Donald Trump on the issue. Egypt's parliament launched a plan to engage with global legislatures to reaffirm Cairo's unwavering stance on the Palestinian cause as political parties and unions call for protest. Speaking at a session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, Abdel Latif underscored Egypt's opposition to all efforts to relocate or uproot populations, whether temporarily or permanently, warning that such actions threaten stability and undermine prospects for peace. His remark came as Egypt's Al Qahira news quoted a senior official denying reports of a phone call between Sisi and Trump. The unnamed official said the necessary accuracy should be observed, especially regarding such high-level communication at this sensitive time in the Middle East, adding that any presidential call are officially announced in line with protocols. The clarification follows U.S. media reports citing Trump as saying he had spoken with Sisi and Jordan's King Abdullah about his proposal to relocate Palestinians from Gaza to Egypt and Jordan. The government of Ghana says it has signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU through its Ministry of Finance with its official creditor committee to restructure the country's national debt. In a statement on Wednesday, the government says the MOU had been agreed upon by all creditor countries, adding that the move signals commitment to restore its long-term debt sustainability. The statement further says that the agreement formalizes what it's called the debt treatment plan, previously negotiated with official creditors, noting that the move provides Ghana with crucial debt service relief during the period of its IMF-supported program. President Kais Saied said he has reaffirmed the constance of Tunisia's foreign policy, in particular the independence of national decisions. Saied spoke during a meeting with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Tunisia's abroad, Mohamed Ali Nafti, at the Carthage Palace on Tuesday. The meeting focused on the result of Tunisia's participation in several international conferences and bilateral visits. A statement by the presidency also cited him as stressing Tunisia's unwavering support for the Palestinian people until they regain full legitimate rights and establish their independent state on all Palestinian land with Al-Qudus as its capital. The president also stressed the need for foresight and proactivity in the face of unprecedented pace of global development. He noted that events were accelerating and the international community was increasingly seeking a fairer world order in which the equality of nations was not merely theoretical but reflected in reality and action. On another note, the president emphasized the importance of further supporting Tunisians abroad and exploring new ways to provide them with the services they need remotely. A plane carrying 21 passengers and crew in South Sudan's United States has crashed, killing 18 people, the United Nations Radio Mirai reported on Wednesday. The plane had departed from an oil field in the northern state when it crashed, according to Mirai, which is run by the UN mission in South Sudan. Authorities were not immediately available for comments. You're still watching the African News on Voice of the People TV. Business stories after the break. Stay with us. And in business, the National Education, Health and Allied Work Union, NEHAWU, is expected to submit a memorandum of demands to the National Treasury and South African Reserve Bank today in a bid to prevent the impending liquidation of Ithala Bank. According to NEHAWU, the bank's over 400 workers will be negatively impacted should the Prudential Authority's application succeed. The union's Durban Regional Secretary Prince Matlane says they will also be going to court on an urgent basis to ensure that workers are paid the salaries. Tanale said their primary concern is about the over 400 workers employed by the Italian bank, none of whom have been paid and who were due to be paid since January 20. Tanale said that it was done in a very hasty manner, in which is now affecting hundreds of workers who have to feed their families, but now they have not received their salaries because all transactions that the organization would have done have been frozen. The Zimbabwe Revenue Authority has issued a clarification regarding regulations requiring individuals from specified professional bodies to present a valid tax certificate before renewing or registering their practicing certificates. This new policy was announced last month under Public Notice 92 of 2024. However, NIMRA Communication Manager Francis Chimanda has explained that the move aims to bring professionals who are not currently in the ZIMRA system into the tax nets, while also strengthening compliance among those already registered in the ZIMRA database. According to him, this has been in place for those who were compliant. ZIMRA, however, is now enforcing the measure for the non-compliant professionals, and effective date is January 1, 2025. In the world of sports, a day after the Total Energies CAF African Cup of Nations Morocco 2025 final draw, President of the Confederation Africaine de Football CAF, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, and Patrick Poliani, Chairman and CEO of Total Energies, concluded an agreement extending the partnership for a further 4 years. Total Energies will now sponsor 12 major CAF events and CAF competitions in the period 2025 to 2028, including the Total Energies CAF Women's African Cup of Nations Morocco 2024, Total Energies CAF African Cups of Nations Morocco 2025, and Total Energies CAF African Cup of Nations Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda 2027, amongst others. The extension of this participation marks a move to deepen commitment towards the CAF African Schools Football Championships from 2025, CAF's flagship program to promote football for young girls and boys in Africa. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV, and across all the social media platforms, we are VOP Live. I am Adefunke Jaisimi. Good afternoon.